Hey everybody, welcome to Why We Love Horror TV, episode 5. I'm JWMaher, and this is my lovely wife, Fiorella. And those are the Brookses, Abby and Aaron, at a remote location somewhere in Pennsylvania. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good.
We're doing good. Excited to be back talking about Dex, his original sin, whatever that means. I have a lot of thoughts on this episode for not a lot happening.
And Fiorella, how are you?
I'm doing good. I kind of feel the same way, though. I really, really enjoy the answers to questions that we didn't really even have. I'm really digging it.
Well, let's take a look at this episode, The Joy of Killing.
So, any fun plans for the night?
You're going to be meeting Gio for the first time, so don't, under any circumstances, be yourself.
Keep an eye on her, report back on the boyfriend.
What if this victim and the last two we found, what if they're all connected?
2's a coincidence, 3's a pattern.
Let me out of here! I want to go home!
I'm gonna find this guy and make him pay for what he's done.
Dexter, Original Sin. New series now streaming on the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
And that is The Joy of Killing. You guys are right. There's a lot of there's characters that were introduced for Dexter Original Sin that we're getting backstory on that I guess feeds into other stories that have nothing to do with Dexter at all. So it's planting roots, I would say,
sure.
This episode. So start you guys, Abby, Aaron, whoever wants to go first. What were your initial thoughts? What's your big takeaway from this episode?
For this episode, my big takeaway was I wasn't really sure, my prediction from last week that something big was going to happen soon did not happen this week. Because there really wasn't a whole lot that went down. Again, just little things that I guess we care about. But not a whole lot with the overall story, I guess. I did enjoy the episode, but it just felt a little empty this week.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's empty. But I get it just feels like a little bit of a filler in some ways, this episode. And it's filling us in on things we've already been filled in on, like Laura Moser and Harry. I guess with Doris, I did like that angle, how Doris was I knew the whole time. I don't know who she is, but I knew. You're a father again, though, so stop. Harry not being there for Deb's birth is just fitting for Deb's entire life. It's just very, very sad. And I do feel we're getting set up in some ways. And I feel like one of the setups is particularly obvious. And I think that's with Gio. I think that so far, Gio, Deb's boyfriend, he looks very, very shady, which, we're kind of on edge with because we know Deb's not got the greatest picker from her, time on the show here. But I feel like they're making it look too much like Gio is this killer loose cannon. He's hot wiring cars. He's freaking out at a guy who bumps into his girlfriend, apologizes, offers to buy a drink. I'm not sure what else he could have done in that case. And then he's no, don't buy the drink. We'd have to see you again. I was just whoa, this guy seems crazy. So he's probably not, and then, we finally have the mystery of how Dexter ever got the idea to start a bowling league. Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's an excuse he uses to get out of a second date. That being said, my big takeaway is what's his name? Detective Sanders is gay.
Yes.
And is he the dude killing all the male prostitutes and stuff in the area? Probably.
Oh,
I'll say, because why else would they introduce that fact?
He's hanging out outside of the Havana Club. He's not trying to hide it here. Anybody walking by could be look at that fella and his friends.
Mm-hmm.
But okay. Yeah, I thought that was that has to be there for a reason though. That's
because it's either that or are they trying to say these dead bodies are the start of the ice truck killer? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't feel like the ice truck killer. It feels
no, and this guy Saunders has to go somewhere.
Yeah. I think the fact that all the people that are dead, it's kind of places, not that I'm an expert, but places where if you wanted to be on the down low banging dudes, you'd go to.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now that I know about
you not being an expert.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on that, but I've heard things.
Okay, sure.
So normally when I use the word filler, it's usually because it's not that great. But though I do think this is a filler episode, I will say I am loving it. I love this filler. I kind of want to find a new word for it. I feel like I love how they are kind of like telling us how he learned how to be human. Kind of. It's not just how he's learning how to kill and what Harry's lessons were. It's like literally he is learning how to like work in the universe. Like I'm really digging that. Also, I decided this episode that I'm going to stop trying to come up with ideas as to what's going on, because I feel like a couple episodes back we thought it was the chief that was involved, but I mean, hey, it might be a total gaslight and it might still be him. So I decided I'm going to stop because I think I'm wrong in everything I'm kind of guessing right now. But I once again, I'm very much enjoying this like backstory. I'm the annoying person that you tell me a story, I need to know, well, what was in the background? Well, what was that person wearing? Like, so it's for people like that, this is an awesome episode, I think.
Yeah. There's not been a bad episode yet of this series, just to be clear. Like
they just introduced so many new characters that you have to take care of like 4 or 5 people that we've never seen before. Like they need to be.
Is Masuka around still?
Yeah.
We haven't seen him a few episodes.
He popped up in this episode because there's a time he says something to Dexter in the police station like once. He has like one line. And is
Angel around? I mean,
Angel, he is.
He's always in the bullpen. You always see him. He's always there. And I don't think he might have had one line in the very beginning, but Masuka had like one line.
Yeah. I really, after the pilot, was expecting Masuka to be like a huge part of this series, and not so much.
Because you got like Bobby, right? He doesn't exist in Dexter. You got Barnes or whatever his name is. He doesn't exist in Dexter. Captain Spencer doesn't exist in Dexter. Sarah Michelle Gellar's character.
We haven't seen Captain Matthews yet, or whatever rank he is at this point.
Yeah.
And he's a huge character, we know, as well. And then I do think that the Laura Moser storyline, I'm getting a little bit towards the point where I don't want her dead, but I'm ready. I'm ready. It
does feel a little.
I didn't need to see her riding Harry in her butt. Like that was like okay. Just a little bit. Like I get it. But I've had enough of that. I get where that's heading. I get he's not treating her like it's his wife, and now it's gonna I get it. Yeah. It's gonna be just short of getting out. I understand.
Yeah, because that what happened to her in this episode is nuts. Like they literally take her and torture a dude in front of her, and it was Harry wants to pull her up. Bobby's like, whoa, hold on, and like basically they keep her in there, and she witnesses the whole thing, and then they pull her out. They're not treating her like a human being.
No, Harry, and it goes to what we were saying last episode, where Harry is just showing himself to be, I think, the most selfish character I think in the whole episode Dexter universe. Like I get Dexter, like I can't not like him. I don't know. But Harry is just, I think, the good villain. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you might have had a point last episode, like kind of like Dexter doing that Walter White thing where he does pull things from every person he kills because he does use all of Levi's moves on Sophia, and they work.
Yes,
he even gets a blowjob in the bathroom.
That escalated quickly, really quickly. But yeah. And the bowling thing it's funny. It's really funny how that's the for anybody out there, all the fans wondering how he came up with a bowling league for his work buddies. Here's where it came from. The horse one was so clever that for this to be the bowling one kind of was like, it's a nitpick, but I was like, oh, come on. That's silly. But
is that the Easter egg you were talking about? The bowling league?
Yes, that's the Easter egg I was talking about. Where it's just like, it's a me issue probably, but I'm like, really? Like, this is the origins of a bowling league for work people is just not that weird of a thing. So we didn't need the answer to that. But, I did notice to jump around to Levi and that whole thing. I thought that was, he's following him, runs into Saunders there. Saunders looks panicked, like more panicked than just like, I don't know. Maybe it was just about being revealed to be gay, but I don't know. It was just, it felt like there was more to it. I wonder if next episode will kind of touch on that a little, like if he'll start to become like less of a nice guy at work to Dexter and more of like, you better, like, what are you going to blackmail me about? What are you going to do about it? Or like, I wonder if we start to see the dark passenger of Saunders, because he just seems like such a good guy.
Yeah.
So I wonder where he was for the original series, because like, it's like something goes wrong in some way or another there. But with Levi getting to when he finally kills Levi, like going back to the Harry point, how Harry's like really, you know, hard to redeem and getting hard to redeem. Dexter like absolutely wants to make sure, okay, you should die. Like it's so important to him. It really is. And like, then I noticed that it's a messy stab, like how he stabs him. So I wonder when he's going to learn how to stab better and cleaner, because like this was just kind of brutal in like out in public, and like there's probably going to be evidence left behind. And once again, he's pulled over with a dead body in his car. Like how many times did this happen in Dexter's life? 20? Like this is insane.
And right outside of where they have just found the hand with the ring on it.
Exactly.
I forget what that guy's name was.
Pretty.
Yeah, it was Handsome Tony. Handsome Tony. His arm floats up. So they have that in their possession now. So now we're, I guess, in the second, the back end of the season, we're going to deal with like how Dexter, like it happens in every season of Dexter. How does he get out of this pickle? Like when the noose is tightening in, how does he slip it? Pretty much. And I would say the other big Easter egg we see is Dexter is almost hit by the ice truck as he steps into traffic. It swerves right in front of him. So I think it wasn't like you needed to be eagle-eyed to see it. Like everyone saw it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So Brian already has the truck, or that truck is just known in the neighborhood. One or the other. You got anything else you want to add?
No, not really. Well, yeah, I guess one thing, going back to Gio, the boyfriend. Yeah, right now, I think from when we first met him, I didn't get a vibe that he's going to be a bad guy. Like, I don't think, like, as you were describing, like, what he did at the bar, I'm giggling because I'm like, that's called a man. Like, that's a nice, healthy Latino young man. Totally kidding, well, kind of kidding. But, yeah, I hope he doesn't have this horrible secret outside of like dating an underage girl, which was bad. But as John said to me while we were watching it, he's like, remember, it's the 90s. And I'm like, true story.
He feels like mafioso, doesn't he? Like that's
right.
It's
his family. His family's involved in something. Remember,
it's like the comment of like Harry being like, keep an eye on him. Like it's like setting Dexter up to view him in a certain way, I feel like.
Yeah.
But so maybe it's Harry's fault that Gio ends up getting killed. Probably.
Yeah. It's not the first time I feel like that Harry is sending Dexter to look after her, and she gets out of like a big, like the date rape scene that almost happened earlier on in this season. I think that's Harry thinking he's there for her through, once again, using Dexter to do his job, whether it's good or bad. I think Dexter is very much his proxy. Yeah, but okay, I don't really have anything else to add.
The only storyline we didn't touch on is Captain Spencer's son is the second kidnap victim. He ambushes his ex-wife in the garage, knocks her out, kidnaps the kid playing the Game Gear. I believe that's a Game Gear. Yeah,
that looked like a Game Gear.
Yeah, I believe so. He should have been kidnapped and beaten up because a real kid would have had a Game Boy.
I had a Game Gear.
Oh, sorry, Aaron. I'm sorry nobody loved you as a child.
Sonic Adventure was awesome. Whatever.
But yeah, so now he is there. He's being fed the off-brand Lunchables in the dark room. And
yes, they were Lunchables. That was a really weird.
Did you guys? It's a storage unit, though.
It looks like
it's a storage unit,
but it's got like the slots that open up, so it's like that's like a prison cell or a.
I think okay. The one thing I will say, I said I wasn't going to do this, but the one thing I will say is, I think it's a storage unit. I think both kids were killed in storage units, and I think the same people that are taking these kids are the ones that took Dexter and his mom. It's all going to tie up like that. That's my.
So it really is the cartel.
So I think it's the cartel, and they're all in. It's the storage unit. There was a shot that made me really pay attention to where the kid was in, and I'm like, that looks like a storage unit.
All right.
I don't know if the
Yeah,
cartel
that would make sense.
They'd be feeding them like carne asada or something.
Well, that's why I was off brand.
And
But
do you have any other thoughts on this episode?
No, not really. I mean, again, it felt like it was a very quick episode, and then it kind of just really ended, I guess, on like kind of a cliffhanger. I agree with pretty much everything that was said. I mean, I liked everything that went on. I did like the scene with Dexter and Deb on the double date. It showed his human side, and the stuff with Deb, I'm like tolerating a little bit more now. But yeah, I like that whole sequence. And again, just all the little details in this episode. I thought it worked pretty well. Again, it just felt very quick. And I'm going to keep saying this, but I think next episode we'll get a little more.
They are taking a break, so next week we'll either be back with something totally different, or we have a hiatus next week. But Aaron, your final thoughts before we jump into ratings?
Yeah, no, it continues to, I think, really justify its existence, and the fact that we're getting Resurrection this summer just makes me very excited. I'm not going to lie. I think that by the time Resurrection comes around, I think they have a real plan here, and the two pieces are going to go together really well with Dexter and even New Blood. I still don't think New Blood is terrible, but like I am now open to seeing how they complete that story, and I'm shocked at how much a prequels helped with that. So I think that's really impressive. And I just can't wait to find out what next little Easter egg they're going to slip in and how they slip it in, because whether it's funny or not, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Camilla mentioned a boat again in this episode, but Dexter still does not own a boat, nor does Harry.
Yeah, that was from Mad Dog. That was an idea from Mad Dog. So like he's got that. But yeah, the boat has to be coming. Maybe it will be at the season finale or series finale. I don't know what they're going to call it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, fair enough. Well, let's rate this episode. I'll go first this time. I think this is like, I don't feel like we've taken our foot off the gas yet. Like everything, like I'm entertained bell to bell. So I'm gonna keep it steady at 4. I'm at 4 videotapes out of 5. No notes. Fiorella, what do you think?
I agree. Short and sweet. I am also at number 4. Still loving this show. It's doing really well.
All right, we'll just keep going straight across. Abby, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it the same as last week as well. Again, I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna keep it at 3.5.
And yeah, I think it's at this point in the streaming like era that we're in, or out of, like, to have a week by week show justify being week by week. I think this was a great call to make this show week by week. If this was a streamed show, you're just not able to sit with these moments and kind of wait for the next answer. And I think it's really satisfying, the answers we get when we're getting them. It is 4 videotapes out of 5 for me as well. Yeah, there's not been a bad episode yet, and I don't think there's going to be. I think that they knew what they were doing bringing this back, and I'm very happy. And if there's eventually like a Saunders like gay escapade spinoff show, that I will watch with, like, I don't know who doing the voice. Like I couldn't think of somebody, but choose your own person for the voice. But I would watch the Saunders gay parade.
I'm down with that too. All right. If you made it this far, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you have time, go over to Letterboxd, join the Letterboxd challenge, and interact with us over there. Share your movies. Come back here, tell us about them. Find us on the Facebook page. Talk about it there. There's so much to do, so much expansion going on in 2025. It's scheduled for the channel Sunday. It's Sunday night. You're watching this. Thank you. Monday, tomorrow night, we'll have Versus. We're still wrapping that up. Who knows? It might never wrap up. It's our guilty pleasure here. I don't care if you watch it or not. Thursday, Why We Love Horror's flagship show. I believe this week we're going to maybe do the Peter Pan movie. Who the hell knows? Because our A-list, it's excluded from A-list, and that's bullshit. Because I paid for that.
They keep doing that.
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe I'll shell out the money to go watch the Peter Pan movie. I don't know. We'll see. And then Friday, Why We Love Horror Trivia. Big match this week coming up, Abby. So hopefully you're prepared. Abby's going to be going for the singles title this week, this Friday. So that'll do it for the episode. Until next time, I'm JWMaher. It's my wife, Fiorella, and those are the Brookses, Abby and Aaron. You might have heard Chico running around, but we'll all be back next week.